Okay. Hi. All right. Hello, family. This is Zoe Sarbo, and welcome to my channel across the diaspora. I have been streaming live for some months via a platform and going live on YouTube and on Facebook. But I've made the decision recently that I'm just going to focus on YouTube, right? Because I have an organic audience on Facebook. These are friends, these are family, but I am now dedicating myself towards growing my YouTube channel. And so I am trying a different way of growing and posting more on YouTube. So if you're seeing this, you're most likely only seeing this on my YouTube channel. If you're seeing a clip of this on Facebook, please be sure to subscribe on my YouTube channel. Across the diaspora is a podcast, and you can find me by the YouTube channel, The Sarbo Lifestyle. Um, and it's of that name because, of course, the whole brand and concept of everything that I do, the things that I talk about, is around living a kind of an Afrocentric lifestyle in every sense of the word. And so the topics we're going to be talking about, for the most part, will in some way pertain to our community and how we embody the essence of a more Afrocentric lifestyle, right? And so I will be showing a lot of clips about how I live my life that is so much grounded and rooted in a more in the Afrocentric culture, along with a lot of people that I know. And so today we're going to focus more on the fashion element. That's a big part of what I do and who I am, culture and fashion. I live and embody that. And I've been reflecting a lot on the issue around the big conversation around Ciara and the outfit she wore to the Vanity Fair fashion event, right? It was a themed event. It was the ladies were encouraged to wear sheer, and so Ciara wore a very much um, exposing an outfit that really exposes her body, right? And a lot of people responded, right? Some people responded in favor, and others responded in a way in which they did not approve of, her choice of an outfit. um and where do you guys think my position is on her outfit? Where would you think I would stand with respect to the debate and on how she dressed? Well, I really wasn't responding initially, because every other day there's a big trending viral issue or topic, but I somehow felt the need to respond to this particular viral event, and for many reasons. One being that I feel as though, as a people, celebrities do play a critical role in the embodiment of culture and fashion, right? In positioning, the community and the culture in a particular way, in reinforcing certain norms and values, and in establishing what is fashionable and what is not, what is trendy and what is not. And we all know how Black women and the Black community and the Black culture is so important and critical in establishing what is trendy, right? And so I do feel that we do have somewhat of a responsibility in being conscious of how we move, right? Because the world is looking at us. I notice that there is a growing tendency of members of the community to be, of the mindset that they dress for themselves, right? Or they're dressing for their partner, and how they carry themselves is because they are very proud of who they are, right? and they're loving their body, and they're loving themselves, and it has nothing to do with anybody else. And for people who are aware of how impactful hip hop, for example, has been, right? How impactful the way the trends that we set have been globally, right? Some of us may not realize it, that the world watches us. The world is watching us. And for me, having had um, a growing understanding of the impact of perception, right? Because when you, with the United States having culture be its number one export, right? The people who are the representation of that culture also very, very important. And so I'm very, very sensitive as to what is the imagery, what are the messages that are being sent out that reflects the people who are who embody this culture. And so I think that when it comes to Ciara, that we really need to take so many variables into perspective when making a decision or coming to a position as to how she dressed for that particular event. Now, I I'm thinking by now you would have an unfair understanding or fair idea of what my position was and still is. I honestly do feel that that outfit was very, very, very inappropriate. It was very, very inappropriate. And setting aside that she's married, right? Setting aside that she's a mother, not even setting aside, I think those are two critical values, identities that she carries with her everywhere she goes, right? The woman, in her essence, right? Her female, feminine, divine self, right? She is at her best, right? When she is within, I believe, the space of being a wife and a mother, right? When she's representing the community, when she's representing the family. And so with that, taking that into perspective, and seeing how she chooses to present herself, is that something that we should really think is necessary, right, in the 21st century, right? Are we saying now that, because, okay, before I go there are a lot of individuals, right, who feel, primarily women, that because her husband was present with her at the event, and because it was her personal choice, it is none of our business, and is not the responsibility, it is not the right, the position for anybody else to have an opinion about what she wore. I based on my opening statement, my open remark on representation and culture and perception and visibility, I would disagree to that, right? I really do feel that your imagery, your image as a celebrity carries a very heavy weight, right? That is why celebrities are influencers. Celebrities are influencers because the entertainment industry understands the level of influence that celebrities have, and for some reason we seem to want to paint the narrative that what a celebrity does is none of our business, right? And then in other spaces, in other conversations, we talk about how, we may have been influenced by, an artist, a singer, an actor growing up. We talk about the importance of representation on television, right? In social spaces, in political spaces. We ask for representation because we know how important it is to see that person that looks like us in those spaces, right? We understand how much of an impact to visually see these individuals in those spaces, how it has on us, on our level of achievement, right? Where we see the ability to where we can go as the individual. So to think that Ciara's decision to wear that dress is in no part a reflection of who we are, um, I find it quite interesting, right? And very concerning, very, very, very concerning, because we're picking and choosing when or what we find to be important to the larger community, right? How is it important to have black bodies in on television and winning certain awards and being appointed at certain positions, but when they choose to wear what they wear, it's not important. It doesn't have any impact. Okay. Apart from that is the historical context that comes into play here. Um, I posted on my Facebook page, the story of Sarah Bartman. Some of you may not know who she was, but her name, she was also known by the name of Sarji, a South African Khoi lady who was taken out of South Africa by her white handlers, right? One of which being a doctor, because they were so enthralled by her body, by the shape of her body, right? And how she had this extra fat in certain parts. And they felt, and that she would be able to make money, right, in Europe, because she would be able to provide entertainment, which she did. She entertained, right, her European audience. She became a prostitute and ended up dying penniless and a prostitute with some unknown disease. I say that to say because Sarah was paraded, right, in front of audiences barely clothed, right, to satisfy the thirst of a people who did not look like her. And this continued throughout slavery, right, where the black body was used for breeding. And I would dare to say this continues today, right? I would dare to say that the culture that is being pushed is a culture that was relegated to certain spaces like strip clubs and the people who take it upon themselves to have a career, presenting their bodies to other people, right? That kind of culture is becoming the norm, is becoming the accepted culture, and I think we are crossing that line. That line is becoming blurred of what is considered value, of high standard, of being decent, and what is not, right? And we are doing so in the frame of we are free, we are independent, and we should be allowed to do whatever we want. And the question is, as women, should we really be allowed to do whatever we want? Should we really be? Especially black women. I don't think there was ever a time where we as a community were instructed on how we should dress, right? That fight was never ours, right? We were always entertaining. We were always allowed to be scantily clad, right? It's just that because of social media and television, right, that kind of entertainment was kept in the background, right, in certain spaces. But there was never a time where black women were instructed, unless they were following the dominant culture mode of dress, to dress in a particular way. So in making that argument that we're free now, and us being told and instructed and suggested of how we should dress is in some way removing whatever freedom we think we have, right? Is in some way denying us our fullness as a woman. Now, I don't think I was planning on going into all of this tonight. I wasn't planning on going this deep, but I know it's a conversation that will have to continue taking place, because I am terrified at the fashion choices that we are making. I'm terrified at the designs that are being created to be put on women's bodies, right? And we're thinking that we're doing so, we're dressing at our own free will, when we do not have any control of the fashion industry, we don't have any input, we do not have any control of the designs that are being created. We are just seeing what is fashionable, right? What are the pieces that are put in the bodies of celebrities, and we're seeing the pieces in the store, and they're sold to us and they're marketed to us, and so we purchase them, right? Do they flatter our bodies? Most times, yes. But at what point do we draw the line and say, no, this is going beyond what is acceptable as a lady, right? Have we lost that sense and concept of what decency is? Does that even still exist? Is that like an archaic terminology, way of thinking? Are we as society, are we as a people going in the direction where anything goes? That is dangerous. I think that is very, very dangerous. Why is it dangerous? It's dangerous because of the society we live in, right? I have people who sent me comments stating, well, in Africa, a lot of tribes dress half naked and it's not a big deal. Women, we were born naked. We should be able to move in a comfortable way how we desire and not get any flack for doing so. And as I told a friend of mine, that I totally agree, right? I honestly believe that if a woman feels comfortable breastfeeding her child in public, right, exposed, that she should have the freedom to do so, right? If a woman wants to dress in an attire that does not cover up everything, right, she should feel as though she lives in a space that respects her and her ability to do so. However, we need to be reminded, right? As we think back about Sarah Bartman's experience where she was removed from her community and taken to a space that abused her, right? That used her body, right? That ogled at her body, right? We are not far removed from that, right? I see that as still a continuation of that story, of that experience, except that we're doing it willingly. We are doing it in the name of a freedom that was really never ours, right? A fight that was really never ours. And so, like so many other things, I feel as though we bought into a lifestyle, a way of being, a way of doing, a way of presenting yourself, right? That is not helpful for us as a community and as a people. It's not productive. And why I say not helpful, because we do have a segment of the community that's saying, no, we don't like it. We do have a segment of the community that says, no, Black woman, we would appreciate you not dressed in a certain way, right? No, Black woman, we would love for you to dress in a much more classy way, right? Covered up way. And these are men, right? These are men saying, we value you in a particular way. And how do we respond? We respond with rejection. We respond with how dare you. We respond by you have no right to tell us. And the question is, why not? Right? These are our brothers. These are our fathers. These are our male friends. These are our potential partners. Right? These are men in our community who I would say love us and are telling us how they see us and value us and how they would appreciate us. I don't see anything wrong with that, right? I don't see the men that we want to marry and partner with holding us at a higher standard, right? Because when a women respond, well, why do, other type of women get to move around naked and dress whatever they want to dress, right? And get the attention and we can't. And I'm like, why do we want to compare ourselves to a value system that is less than? I envision it as less than in a way of standards, right? As in decency. Why do we want to not be the ones to say, hey, we are elevating ourselves, our community, our culture, right? We're embodying the best of who we are, right? And we're going to present ourselves in this way. Or is it wrong to want to think that way, right? Do we not want to see ourselves as queens, as regal, as ladylike, as the representation of divine feminine selves? Do we not want to be seen that way, to think of ourselves that way, to carry ourselves that way, to embody that essence, to dress that way? I'm beginning to feel that we do not. And I know a lot of women do, but also a lot more are confused. I think a lot of us are just rolling with whatever is presented to us, right? And taking on the argument of a larger community and culture that does not fit our narrative, that does not apply to us, right? And now we're fighting that fight against a part of our community that is saying, hey, listen to us. We love you. We want to love you. We want to respect you. And this is what we ask. This is what we ask. And I think we have a responsibility to listen. We have a responsibility to listen because we have things that we ask of them also. We have expectations from the men also. And so maybe we should set the example, right? We should be that example of pride that they want, that they're looking for. Because the opposite is not ideal, right? I move in certain spaces, well, I used to, certain social spaces, certain clubs, and I can tell there's an underlying lack of respect for Black women. I can tell that. Now, the reasons, there can be a long list of reasons, right? But should we not take on the responsibility of doing our part, of changing that, of turning that around? Right? I feel as though we all play a role in the dynamics that we have. And respect each other's expectations, because it really doesn't hurt us to listen and respond. It really, really doesn't take away from who we are. Definitely not our freedom, because first of all, the conversation about freedom is a whole loaded conversation, right? The conversation of, are we really free, right? And so is the definition of being free is to dress how you want, being half naked? Is that your definition? Is that our definition as Black women of freedom? Is that what it has boiled down to? My other concern, right, is our younger generation. Because of the culture that is being formulated and pushed to us of the woman's body, twerking, and sexuality, more and more I'm worried that women are seeing themselves, their worth and their value in that way, right? What are the examples that young girls have? What are the common examples? You see, growing up, we had the full range, right? We had the India Arie, we had the Jill Scott, the Erykah Badu, right? And then the Lil Kim. Like, we had the full range. But I cannot say the same anymore. The dominant visuals that you see is not a reflection of me and a lot of my girlfriends and a lot of the ladies that I know. And so what mindset are we creating, right? Not only for the girls but for the boys, right? The representation of a woman, because we are influenced, as much as we would like to say we're not, we are influenced by popular culture, especially at a young age where you want to fit in and seem cool. So young boys, right, how are they seeing and learning how to love women? What are they looking for? What are they going to look for? And young girls, how do they see themselves? How do they see themselves? How do they think of themselves? And what does it mean to be a young lady growing up in the society? And so it's quite layered. This conversation is quite layered and so much deeper than just Ciara being able to dress how she wants to dress. And with that being said, right, in talking with my team, I decided to do a challenge, and it's on my Facebook page, and I will be showing the photo, the image of the flyer. But I decided to gift 2 high school students a custom-made piece for their prom, right? So I'm really, really excited about it. We are going to what I decided to do is to make it into an essay competition, right? So the task is to write an essay on a historical figure, woman, because we're in Women's Month, International Women's Month, right? And so the student is to write an essay about a woman, a well-known figure that they admire, and the top 2 essays, right, will be selected for a chance to get a custom-made piece for their prom. And so we are going to what are we gonna do? We're going to give them a good hairstyle. It's a full makeover, basically full hair, makeup for the lady, outfit for the guy, and a photo shoot to top it off, right? Full makeover. So I'm really excited, looking forward to see. I haven't received any as yet because I posted it about 2 days ago, so I really don't expect an essay to be done by then. But I say this to say that I really do hope that I get a full response. I know a lot of people have shared it so far, and I am really excited because I really want to use the brand to push a certain quality of style and essence and fashion that is not common in our society today. So if you know someone who is in high school, if you know someone who's going to prom, please message me in my email, by email, thesarbolifestyle@gmail.com. the Sarabo, SARABO, lifestyle@gmail.com. Email me there. And yeah, just give me the details. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. I will be happy to follow up with you and answer your questions. And I look forward to receiving, any of the essay responses, and reading through them and selecting the winners, because there will be two, male and a female. That's the goal, a male and a female. So family, I've said a lot, but I've said a lot because there's so many things that happens, and we have these debates and we have these conversations, but there's only so much that can be said on social media, going back and forth, on a feed, right? And so I'm just taking this opportunity to share in depth, why I felt a certain way, or the way I felt with respect to Ciara's outfit. So we're going to continue having these conversations. Something else is going to happen again. And I want to challenge us to think deeply on how we respond and how we carry ourselves and the decisions we make, because our decisions we make really truly our decisions, right? Are we truly autonomous in our actions, or are we being inspired and influenced, right? And I hope that this conversation helps in coming to a decision and a realization as to what may be a best direction as a community. So with that being said, thank you for taking the time, for listening to me. And until next time, enjoy, embrace the culture, embrace the lifestyle. Please hit subscribe and like this video, and we will be seeing you again. Thank you. Wait, I did this for a whole...